Good morning. Welcome to Fibertown. I'm Emily. This is Alice. She doesn't have a Ravelry account, but I do. I am Chain of Fools, and I'm Fibertown with an RE on Instagram, and the blog is fibertown.blogspot.com. And where else? iTunes, Hipcast, YouTube. Yeah, welcome. It is episode 68 today, and today is the 28th of May, 2014. I'm doing a little knitting here. Alice is looking for treats. Hey, Alice. Come here. We had a bunch of thunderstorms last night. She has not been pleased ever since. Let me see if I can get some. There you go. There's your pretty face. So yeah, we're just chilling on my sofa. Too much pollen for the porch, but I'm hoping in the next few weeks I'll be able to podcast out there again and start spinning out there, and yeah. So I want to say welcome to Kate CC, who is from the UK. Thank you so much for introducing yourself, Kate. Catherine, I think she said her name was. She is learning to spin, and she does a lot of other crafts. So, hi! How exciting for you to learn how to spin. I think I'm going to have company today again. There you go. There's our girl. So, let's see. It is towards the end of May, so our FO thread for May is wrapping up, as well as the Autism Awareness Craft Along. Wow, go and look at that thread for inspiration. Both threads, really. Fantastic stuff. So after May 31st, whenever that is, it's coming up. It's this weekend, isn't it? I will not be opening another monthly FO thread for the summer because, sorry, I'm gonna knit. And you all know the reason for that, right? Because I won't be here starting mid-June. And somebody asked me where Alice is going to be when I'm in Spain, when we are in Spain. And she is going to be with my parents, who she knows and loves, and they love her, and they will take excellent care of her, and she'll just have the run of the garden and enjoy her summer. And I hope and hope and hope and hope. I'm making lots of like frozen chicken and rice meals for her in case she's depressed and doesn't want to eat, because she does do that sometimes. When I'm gone, she's very attached to me, so she'll be okay, I hope. I've gotten way off topic. What was I? Oh yes. So I'm in the process of thinking about what yarns I want to take, what fibers I want to take with me to spin while I am abroad. And, you know, I'm getting licked here. Thank you. Yay. Hi. I want a kiss. Thank you. Yeah, as I said before, I have a hard time leaving my stash, and this is the problem with this dog. She licks. It's like another appendage. She licks a lot. She licks toes, especially, which can be annoying. My goodness. What is up with this podcast? I have a lot to talk about. I should not be rattling on like this. I don't usually knit on the podcast. Maybe that's why I'm not so focused. Knitting on a hat that I think I might rip out. So I shouldn't even be knitting on it. Right, Al? Anyway. So as I was saying, starting June 1st and running till the end of August, we are going to have the summer of S's while I am in Spain. S's, so spinning, socks, sweaters, shawls. Anything else you can think of with an S? Feel free to put it in there. It should start with an S. Okay? And feel free to double, triple, quadruple dip. There's, it can go in stash dash as well as my stuff, or our knit along, craft along. Sewing starts with an S. If it's a project bag you sewed, put it in there. Those are always allowed in the monthly FO threads anyway. So yeah, the summer of S's for Spain. And those are the things I like to knit in the summer. Socks and shawls are great vacation knitting. And sweaters are just great to knit in the summer, I think. I'm not bothered by knitting wool in the summer at all. And I think it's nice to finish a sweater and then you'd be like, ooh, I can't wait for the first cold day, I'm going to put this on. So I like to have a sweater in the summer and have it ready to go for the first crisp fall day. Spinning is a no-brainer in the summer. I love to spin in the summer. So yeah, Summer of S's. I'm very excited. It's going to be going for 3 months, and there will be prizes. Oh my gosh, did you see the Autism Awareness prizes? They're fantastic. So get your stuff in by the last day of May, because next week is going to be a prize extravaganza. You can come on the other side, Al. Come on. Okay, so what have I done this week, and what am I going to talk about today? Come on, over here. Let's see. I have one FO. Gosh, do you love my hair every time I... Cowlicks everywhere. I have one FO. It is woven, and it's right there. I have works in progress. I have spinning. I have acquisitions, and I have Ask Fibertown. Ask Fibertown. We should have Ask Alice, like go ask Alice. Jefferson Airplane. No, I have no treats for you. Okay, so you guys want to see my FO? All right. Told you I wanted to weave with my hobbledehoy. This smells so good. Okay, this is a scarf. It is woven with 2 balls of hobbledehoy hand spun that were spun from bats. This one was this year's Maryland Sheep and Wool bat. It was Mother of Dragons. Oh, come on, you. That's good enough. There we go. Lots of light blues and purples and pinks and silvers. That was the warp. It's probably a mistake to do such a beautiful skein of yarn as the warp for this. I thought it would show more than it did. Live and learn. I am very much a beginning weaver still. And anyway, you can see what the warp looked like from the fringe. It had like blobs of sari silk like this, and just gorgeous. And I do have this much left over. It will go in my mitered square leftovers blanket. So the weft I used last year's hand spun bat, which was called Bear Island, and it's just gorgeous. It has so many different colors. It has these little locks. Look at these little curly locks there that I love. I think this is my favorite part of the whole scarf. But let me show you what some of the other bits of the fabric look like. There we go. This was so fun to weave. It took me a day, more or less. And it's nice and long, with some bits and bobs sticking out in places. But you can see that the warp, even though it's a balanced weave, it's not a warp faced or a weft faced. The weft rather, really does seem to block out. The weft seems to block out the warp quite a bit. It's very long. It's very supple. After I washed it, it became much less stiff. Can you see it? So pretty. I like it. It's nice. Okay. So I love it. I love it, even though I'm a little bit irked about having used this. What's done is done, and it's a beautiful, warm, lovely, unique, completely unique scarf. That's my one FO for the week. Let's talk works in progress. What am I knitting? Well, I am knitting a hat, a vanilla hat, out of some hand spun, fiber optic hand spun. I have 230 yards of this, which really, it's thunder to lightning gradient. It's merino silk. It is now chain plied. It is chain plied, and I think I cast on, I want to say 88 stitches on US 6s, and then I'm going up to 7s for the body of the hat. I love the fabric. I'm sorry, did I scare you? I love the fabric. It's so, okay, it's much more midnight blue than that. This is more the real color. I love it. It's squishified. But what was I thinking? Casting on a hat, even a slouchy hat, I won't be able to use the whole gradient. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I'm gonna have to rip it out, and I think I'm gonna have to make something else with it. I'm thinking a honey cowl. Have y'all seen that pattern? It's just it's a free Madeline Tosh pattern. A million bajillion have been made, and I think this would be stunning. 230 yards. I don't know if I could get the long version out of that, but I'll try. Anyway, what I might do is not rip this out and just cast on the honey cowl with the orange and see if I like the pattern. Or do a swatch. Yeah, swatch. See if I like the pattern. This fiber optic handspun is exquisite. It was semi-worsted spun, so I used like sort of a bastardized long draw, supported long draw, with a worsted preparation. And in the past, when I have done a fiber optic chain ply, I have gotten a really dense, ropey yarn, and I have not been happy with it. But I'm happy with this. Just a lighter touch on the spinning, and with enough structure to withstand a chain ply. Because I think there's a lot of, I think chain plying really, your yarn has to stand up, your single has to be able to stand up to it, because there's a lot of fooling around with a single when you're chain plying. And it's a pain when it breaks all the time. So you need that kind of more worsted spinning, I think, or at least a semi-worsted, to be able to get a strong enough single that's not too overspun, and it's not too dense and ropey. So it needs to be a little air, a little bit of air in your single, but not too much. So it's a fine line to walk, I think. To walk. Hi, precious. Anyway, so this in all likelihood will be coming out. But it feels so nice. Anyway, I'm looking forward. I have 3 more fiber optic gradients, 4-ounce gradients, that I'm very excited about spinning. Okay, I'm going to take this off because it is summer, it is humid. You like it, Allie? And I'm going to show you my other work in progress. This, I have to say, I have pretty much abandoned my other collie wobbles. That is not going to happen by the end of the month. It's okay. I want to knit myself garments right now, summer garments. And this is the one I have cast on. Oh, and I didn't bring the yarn ball band. Oh, well. This is from Interweave Knit Spring 2011. Looks like this. And it is the, let me show you a better picture, because that has the pattern. It's called the Heliotropic Pullover by Mercedes Tarasovich Clark. And there it is. It has this sort of, it's not completely a slip stitch. It's an interesting little pattern. But I'm knitting it out of a linen silk nylon blend, which is called Sierra, like the mountains. Snubbly and slubbly, and I like working with it much more than I thought I would. I've never been one to work with summer weight yarns, like summer blend yarns. This one's lovely. So I have cast on the yoke in the smallest size because it's written for 5 or 6 inches of positive ease. And I'm going to enlarge, what am I going to say? I'm going to knit the smallest yoke size, so it'll have a little less ease in the yoke, which I would prefer. But I'm going to go up in both the needle size, and I'm going to increase to the next size up for the body. And it doesn't seem like, I don't think there's any shaping in the body. It's just straight down. And I'm going to extend the body as well. I have a lap dog now. She's crawling in my lap. All right, so let me show you what I've got so far. I have just joined the second ball. I knit on this at jury duty yesterday. I did not get selected for a trial. In fact, I got to leave, I got excused at around 11:30. So, very happy. But I did my duty. I said duty. Okay, so this is what the yoke looks like so far. Pretty, right? And I think this is going to be plenty wide. I tried it. It's a top down. You can try it on. As soon as I separate for the sleeves, I'm going to be trying this on. And then this is really, makes a pretty dense fabric up here, but I think just the plain stockinette will be loose and drapey. It should be interesting. I really hope it works out because I need extra summer tops for our trip to Spain. And if you don't know, the family is accompanying the perks of living with my husband. We are being sent with him to work in Spain. And he's going to be working there for a month, and we're going to be staying an extra 2 weeks after that to visit family. But we are all, I wouldn't say it's all expenses paid, but it's most expenses paid because it's work. So we're very, very fortunate, and he works a lot on this trip to get it ready, and I can't wait, and it should be great, and I hope I can podcast from Spain, but if not, I will record and put it all together when I come back and upload it. Alrighty. So I showed you my heliotropic, showed you my fiber optic hat, spinning. Have a little wee sip of the pickle jar. Oh my goodness, you're distracting me today. You're so sweet. Alright, my spinning. I've been a little bit preoccupied with processing my fleeces. I have washed all of them are washed. There is no dirty fleece left in my house. Although I did leave some lanolin in the Corriedale Border Leicester Romney cross. It is still a bit greasy, but let me show you what I have done. I can't seem to focus on any one of these fleeces, although I have been spinning the fin a bit more than the others and processing that. See what I mean about the licking? All right, don't do that. All right, so I'm processing them all very differently. Just, they're kind of telling me how they want to be handled. And so let me start with the fin. This is Burketta. You've seen her before. I've dyed her blue. And look how shiny and pretty she is. Curly locks. So Burketta most definitely wants to be combed. And you saw the combs in there. These are my Viking combs. Well, actually, are they Viking? They're called Valkyrie. Oh, I need to pull some top off of this one. There are 2 rows of tines. And there they are. Valkyrie. Are they Germanic? Are they Viking? I don't know. So anyway, I am processing Burketta with combs exclusively. Sorry. And I have one bobbin, one storage bobbin, and then I have another like 1.5 ounces on my wheel already. And I'm just making little combed nests. There's one. And she's going to be beautiful. So that one, Burketta, is combed. And she is a fin fleece. This is my Cotswold Coopworth cross. It is a lamb's fleece. I got it in Shenandoah last year. These locks, they're so curly, they're like little French fries. You know those crinkle cuts? Ooh, look at those fingernails, they're awful. Anyway, so curly and lovely. This one needs to be flicked. So I am flicking both ends. And then drum carding. Flicking, then drum carding. Now my Jacob, I have one bobbin of Jacob spun. Where is it? 1 ounce of Jacob, rather. The white. I have you were so nosy. I have 1 ounce of Jacob spun. There's a little bit of gray bits in there as well. That's just the end. Right there. It's so soft. The Jacob is so soft. And this is a washed lock. The Jacob wants to be hand carded. That's how it's acting. That's how it wants to be. So I am hand carding the Jacob, making roll logs on my hand cards, and spinning from those. The last fleece is, look at that. This is the one I just finished washing. This is yogurt, the Corriedale Border Leicester Romney. And how am I doing this one? I am flicking and then combing. And I have 4 little nestlets. So I have not begun spinning this one at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. I should probably pick a fleece and stick to it and just get one done, but I can't seem to divide my focus on one. I'm dividing my attention between all 4. It'd be kind of really cool to have one of them done and take to Spain with me to make a sweater. Probably Burketta. Yeah. They're just all so wonderful, different, and they're all wanting to be processed differently, and it's kind of cool. So, there's been lots of fibery activity. Did you all see my Van Gogh all skeined up last week? I don't remember if I showed you, but I'm going to show you again. This is a chain ply of Gourmet Stash Poonies spun on my Trindle. And I think it came out really nice. Really, really, really in love with it. I think I might make this into a headband. I think it's 130-ish yards. It's just beautiful. Maybe it should be a piece of jewelry. So much fun to spin. That's one of the only things I've done in recent memory on a drop spindle. So, speaking of Gourmet Stash, I'm going to speak of her a couple times, as usual. I helped her out before Maryland Sheep and Wool, and she paid me in fiber. So I put some of the fiber on my drum carder, and I made bats. So I have these two. Turquoise, black, cream. This is yak merino silk, super fine merino. I think some bamboo in there as well. And then I have this one. Hello, Allie. It matches you. Except for the red. Smells good. It's Alice approved. Look at this one. Oh, la, 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 la. Look at that. Gorgeous. And then I had all of the remnants that were stuck on my Liquor Inn. That's part of a drum carder. And I just made sort of more of an artsy bat with that. So that was super fun. So I'm down to acquisitions. So let me show you the one that came in the mail today. I just picked it up. Gourmet Stash again. Oh, yes. That is excellent, says Alice. Smell it? You like it? All right. You guys, this presenting Maryland Mermaid. What? What? Where has this kind of fiber been all of my life? Why have I never seen this before? It has sparkle in it. And the sparkle is goldy silver. I haven't even looked at this until now. Miss Kate, she dyed this with ice cubes outside. I don't know how her process worked, but I like the results. I think this is coming to Spain with me. That smells good. Look at that, Alice. Look at that. Look at you, pretty, pretty princess. Friendship is magic. Isn't that what Silly Fruit says? Friendship is magic. Shut up, Kate. Kate is magic. Whoa. I can't stop looking at it. It's amazing. So yay. Can I wait till Spain to spin that? I don't know. How should I spin it? 2-ply? 3-ply? Oh my gosh, that would be sparkly socks, wouldn't it? Anyway, I so happy to get released early from jury duty. I thought, let's make this happy feeling last. So I went to Nature's Yarns, which is near the courthouse. Not near the courthouse. It's not far from the courthouse. It was on my way home. And I picked up two things. Malabrigo nube. Nube is Spanish for cloud, and this is their merino top. This is in the piedras colorway, which means stones. So it's golds and russets and purples and charcoaly grays and other colors where all those colors touch each other. And I've just been wanting to try this ever since it came out. I think it's been out like a good year. So the price was right. 4 ounces for $15.50. So I picked that up. And I got this. Interweave knits. Summer knits, because all of a sudden, for the very first time, I'm into summer knits. Don't have a lot of summer yarns, but I think a lot of these could be done in rather regular wool. Oh, my leg is falling asleep, baby. Okay. I like the cover sweater. Let me see what else I like. Again, this is not a review. This is just the magazine. The quality of the magazine is improved and is improving, I think. The new editor, I like what she's doing. I do. She's talks about dyeing, and these are all different fiber bases with the same amount of dye on them and the same kind of dye and how it takes dye differently. Just really, the articles were interesting, and there are a lot of patterns I really like. That's a nice plain-ish summer top with some interest. There's really not a lot I don't like in here. That's pretty. There are things I would wear most of the things in here. There are a few that are misses, but that's a pretty hoodie. That's by Shirley Payton. Ocracoke hoodie. That's in fingering, so I probably wouldn't knit it. I think this one is cute. Hang on, let me see if I can get a bigger picture of that. The way it covers the bum. It's shaped longer in the back. Sorry. There is a sock pattern in here that is really innovative, and you basically, take a look. You knit the sole first, so you could even knit it in, you could carry reinforcing yarn. You could knit it in any weight, the sole of the foot, and then you, I guess, pick up and knit up from there and a more delicate yarn. I think it's a really interesting concept. I don't know if it's been done before, but it's an excerpt from a book called Soulful Socks by Betty Salpikar. So it's kind of a neat concept, and the patterns are in there too. So you can do whatever you want for the sole. You can do it in worsted weight if you want. You can do it in super duper strong yarn, and then use cashmere for the top. And if the sole wears out, you can just reknit a sole for it. So it's kind of a cool concept, and I think I'd like to try it at some point. This top I really like. This brown one. It is knit. It's knit with a lace weight yarn, but the front, let's see, it's called the hay bale tank. And you use a lace weight yarn on large needles for the front, and the same yarn doubled for the lacy back. That's a cool idea, and I have some quantities of lace weight that could be used for that. There's a nice top with a lacy yoke. So just very nice patterns and some innovation in here, which I like, and a last word by Rachel Heron, who is a novelist, a knitting novelist, and it was a good little essay that she wrote in the back. Okay, can you see that dog down there? I am going to answer 2 Ask Fibertown questions, and one of them is about her. Sorry about the seasickness. Okay, so grab my iPad here. The very first one is, who is it from? Who is it from, Al? Good girl. Oh, Ravelry kicked me out. The first one is about what kind of needles I like. And let me just see who asked it. I love it when I open the Ravelry group and there's a new Ask Fibertown question. Makes me smile. Thank you for asking them. You know, I love any comments and questions and thoughts you guys put on the board, and I appreciate it. Okay, the Naughty Knitter said, what needles are your favorite to work with and why? Also, what size and length are they? Well, I could go on, you know, expounding on needle preferences and the reasons for them for a long time. It's a highly personal thing, right? Some people can't stand a needle that someone else loves. I will tell you what I like. These are my Qiaogu interchangeables. These are my favorite needles. I like the Qiaogu fixed as well, but the red lace. There are different types. The red lace have these pointy tips. They are metal needles. I have the, is that a 4-inch tip? These are a 4 or a 5-inch tip. I wish I knew. Generally, I like 5-inch tips because I feel like the 4-inch are too short, where there's the 5-inch kind of rest on this part of my hand. So I have the small sizes, some of them are in use, and then I have started adding larger sizes. So I have the US 9s right there, and I just get them from an Etsy. Handsome Fibers sells the tips and the cords separately. And you need different cords for the small needle tips and for the large. This has come into Spain with me. I really adore these needles. I love my carbons. Where are they? And these are at least 5-inch. I guess, you know, for double points. Yeah, these are 5-inch. Love them. I prefer these for double points. The yarn I'm using for the heliotropic, which is that cotton, no, not cotton, silk and linen blend, it's very splitty, and I'm using a Qiaogu, you can see it right there. I'm using Qiaogu red lace on these, and I'm starting to think it might be a mistake, even though I just love them, because the sharp tips are splitting the yarn even more. It's just the nature of the way the yarn is plied, and when people say the yarn is splitty, sometimes I think it's because they're using crazy sharp needles. But you like what you like. I've tried lots of different needle tips, lots of different needles. I have some Addy clicks. I wish I had the Addy lace clicks because I think they'd get a lot more use because they're pointier, and that's what I like. Although I have some wooden needles that they're size 1s, I believe, and they are just so pointy that within a few hundred stitches I have a hole in my finger already. So I don't want them weapon sharp because I just can't knit with those. They're beautiful. They're like a rainbow stained wood. I need to destash those because I never use them. They were expensive and I get maimed when I knit with them. So I think that needle choice is highly individual, and you got to try a lot of different ones before you find what works for you. And I think sometimes what works for you changes over time. I used to love my Addy clicks before I developed a preference for sharper needles. So before I knew better. I don't really love to knit with bamboo or wood, with the exception of Brittany needles. I have some Brittany straights and double points, and I think they're fantastic. The way the wood is treated, I love them. I really do. And if I'm going to knit with straights, I usually go for those. So, that was kind of a bit of answering that question. I've tried the Hiya Sharps, and they just somehow don't feel very substantial in my hands. So I don't prefer those. I don't know. They're just, it's almost like they're not there. I need a little bit of weight to my needles. So again, very highly individual. All right, the other question made me laugh. I love questions that make me laugh. And this was from, I'm going a little out of order now. This question was from Rosebob. And she says, what is the naughtiest thing that Alice has ever done? And then she says, I'm laughing already. And I was too. Okay, let me just spotlight Alice here a little bit. Hey, Alice. Can you see her? She's in my lap. Hey, Alice. This is where she loves to be. So Alice is not a very naughty girl, but she has done some interesting things. I've had naughty dogs before. Oh, yes. My dog Angus, who is a Cairn Terrier, once took wallpaper off of a wall when he was displeased. And he was an SOB, literally and figuratively. He would commandeer my bed when I was a kid, and I'd try to sit down on it, and he would growl. He was a piece of work. Hi. Hi. This girl is a good girl. She's very loving. She licks too much. But let me tell you something she did when she was a puppy. She's not destructive. This is probably the most destructive thing she's ever done. She doesn't eat stuff, but she's done some weird stuff. And my other Boston, I can't even tell you some of the weird stuff he did because this is a family podcast. Let me just say that there's a video of my Max that circulated at several bachelorette parties. I'm going to let your imagination run wild. Alice is not so freaky. She's a good girl. But, oh, your ears are floppy. Fix it. When she was a puppy, she liked to hide under furniture. And she would go under our bed and eventually come out. I didn't think anything of it. I had cleaned very well under our bed before she came home. And she was probably 9, 10, 11 weeks old when this happened. So we just have a regular box spring under the mattress. And if you're in Europe, I don't think box springs are as common in Europe, but it's basically your mattress goes on top of it. And it's sort of a wooden structure. It's not a comfortable structure. That's why you have a mattress on top of it. But it's like a wooden structure covered in fabric on the top. And underneath it's a mesh kind of fabric. Very thin fabric, I guess, to let air flow through. So, could not get her out from under the bed. And so I got down on the floor with a flashlight and was looking for her. And she was not there. But I knew she was under there. So I'm looking for her and I called her name. I said, Alice! The little stinker had eaten a hole in the mesh and had gone up in the box spring. So here's what happened when I called her name. A little tiny puppy head just poked down. Like, I don't know, like a bird poking its head out of its nest. It was so bizarre. She doesn't fit up there anymore, but she would go up there periodically. She made her own little cave. So, other than that, and maybe biting my husband's pants, she really has a love-hate relationship with him. She's my dog, for sure, and does not respect him like she respects me, which I find kind of hilarious. She really hasn't done anything destructive. She doesn't get into the trash like most dogs will if given half a chance. She doesn't beg from the table. She doesn't bark too much, except for when she sees a squirrel. Yeah. So she's a very good girl. But thank you, Rosebob, for that question, because I had forgotten all about that. And when you asked that question, I remembered Alice's little box spring nest and her little head poking out, looking at me. Just her head, like a little upside down bat. Anyway. You know, I should probably actually look in the box spring and see if she put any toys in there. It's possible. Alrighty, so next time I see you guys, we will do massive prizes. Looking forward to it, and I'm sure you are too. So Alice and I are going to say ta-ta for now. We say ta-ta for now? Ta-ta. All right. You all take care till next week. All right. Bye-bye.